history of asymmetrical wars, of liberation and revolutions. You start to see things differently, you start to interpret things differently, you start to see Israel's rampage as a sign of its weakness. And you start realizing that in order for Palestine to win, they just have not to lose. They just have to keep, stay there, stay alive and stay there and not give up. Whereas Israel, in order for it to win and achieve its objective and be safe and secure its project, it has to have absolute victory, which is much harder to achieve, which necessitates basically making the people of Palestine submit to Israel or complete their project of genocide and ethnic cleansing. Anything short of that will be a victory for Palestinians and a defeat for the Israelis. That's the nature of asymmetric warfare, and you can see that in the slave uprisings and revolution in Haiti, the first ever successful slave uprising in history, which created a republic where the revolutionaries were able to defeat the three largest empires of their time, the French, the British, and the Spanish, and kick them out of Haiti. Vietnam would be also an example, decades of struggle where they were able to kick out the French, the Americans, and the Chinese as well. And that's not because they had better weapons or larger armies. That's because they capitalized on their strategic advantages as a guerrilla force, as a resistance movement rooted in the people and their resistance. So our role here is basically to buy them time, to help them stay alive, which means to slow down Israel's onslaught and weaken the state as much as possible, while we are building the institutions, the organizations, the movements, and educating the generations, which will lead to the eventual isolation of Israel, where they will be forced to give up the project. So don't lose sight of that. The Palestinians just have to not give up, and we have to basically support them in every means necessary and help them do that. This is one of the examples where historical education and awareness can really infuse an individual with a great sense of optimism and hope. But that's only coupled, of course, with action. It should give you a clearer vision of how to act and how to orient yourself within the chaos of these titanic struggles. I hope that helped. I hope that gave some of you hope and a maybe wider perspective, and gave you an additional reason to maybe read a little bit more about the history of struggles for liberation. Until next time, peace out.